Okay, let's start. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whomsoever it is concerned. I'm sorry I'm late, a bit late, because of my personal work. I had to start late, live little bit late. But I will make sure that I will give you a good content today. This is regarding the human behavior. So we have finished listening to part one, like until 17 chapters, and all those 17 chapters taught us many behaviors, and including the hidden facts or hidden secrets behind the famous festivals or famous things that we are talking today from Sanatana Dharma or from ancient stories. But here in the second chapter, it is starting with chapter 18, resolving an ancient wound. If you all can recollect what chapter or what situation we ended the part one is, Sujata is ready to go out into the world, step into the world, real world. She is living in the world, but it is in a cocoon, or it is actually she is living in a high vibration or high energetic place, which is surrounded by Mata's energies. It is obviously easy to feel uplifted in those high energetic place. For example, imagine if we are in a temple. Temple is a high energetic place. Either it may be a temple or a mosque or a church, whatever it is. It is a high energetic place because it is surrounded by the energies from the higher beings or higher celestial beings or the Mula Virat. In Telugu, we call it as Mula Virat, but I would say it as God. We usually refer them as God, right? It is the high energetic or high vibrating place where people will obviously feel uplifted. When we go into that higher energetic place, our thoughts will be limited, and we will try to limit or concentrate our eyesight onto the idol, if they are worshipping idol. But if they are not worshipping idol, they'll try to limit their thoughts and then concentrate on one thing by imagining some energies, right? Or they'll try to align with the energies in there. But it is obviously easy to feel uplifted in that high vibration place. But once you come out of that energetic place, then what is your mind like? Did you ever try to observe the difference between inside the temple or inside the mosque or church, or outside that high vibrating place? It is obviously easy for us to feel uplifted in there, and we will start succumbing or subjecting to the delusions outside, with the outside world, when we step out of that vibrating place. That is why in Sanatan Dharma, most of them say that if we are going to the temple or any mosque or church, we should be very clean, wear very clean clothes, and then have less food, so that all these energies will start working on your mind and heart, to align your mind and heart. So that's the main importance of going to the temples or spiritual places, exactly. Now, Sujata was living in the premises of Mata's energies. Whenever, if she was down, she would have she got an immediate support. She got an immediate help from Mata, and also help from Mata's aides. She would obviously feel uplifted there, right? But now that she's stepping into the real world, how is she really? She's going to test it out. She's going to test out all the knowledge that she has acquired in the presence of Mata. Mata. It is not that she can stay there always and then feel like, okay, I'm doing well and I'm behaving well. No, it doesn't work out. She has to herself work out. We have to work out on our end. We have to work out by ourselves. Mata is always there. God is always there to help us, guide us in the right direction. But it is we who has to work on ourselves to transform our heart and brain. Then whatever we whomever we are dependent on, if it's Mata or any other god, then they will obviously help us in driving us to on the right direction. And this chapter is named as Resolving an Ancient Wound. What is she resolving? Why is she going to her brother's place? She can, Mata would obviously allow her to go to her son's, along with her son, right? But now, why she is allowing her to go or directing her to go to her brother's place? Her brother is along with his wife, and she was invited there, and Abhishek did obviously invite her. He was obviously waiting for her to reunite with his sister. And as soon as she went into stepped into the outside world, and she was taken to her brother's home, what happened exactly to her? um, she told that she was obviously having an interaction with Sumati, and she said that he has to, before leaving this women's quarters, what she exactly spoke to Sumati was, she couldn't even believe why is Arjuna the one who took her to meet along with her father, and she was not able to still believe, but she was very sure that it was Arjuna, but she was not able to believe that it would be Arjuna. And then she wanted to reconfirm about it, and then she asked Sumati about it, and then Sumati did confirm that yes, it is Arjuna, and Arjuna is invited here. Mata did invite Arjuna here. And then what is Mata doing? Why did Arjuna take Sujata? And Sujata, for example, she is no one, right? I mean, it's not that she's no one at that point of time. She's a woman who faced lot of struggles. But why did Arjuna, the great skillful warrior, the great person whom we are all talking about, why is he assigned this job? There is much higher interest on Arjuna, and why is he assigned this job of a charioteer to take this Sujata to her father? The thing is, Arjuna's training, Sri Krishna's training on Arjuna is not like external. I mean, of course, Sri Krishna trained Arjuna externally as well, but the most that they concentrated, Sri Krishna along with Mata, both of them concentrated on Arjuna to transform him from internal. So internal transformation is very, very required for a person to be a leader. Now, what kind of leader is he? Now, if he, we know the history, right? They were all placed as a leaders after the Great War, and then they were given this kingdom. But when you are a leader, when you are stepping into the role of a leader, what qualities should you acquire? Now, they will be, Pandavas will all be given the ownership of Indraprastha. Indraprastha is a united kingdom of India. At that point of time, it is not a broken India, but it is a united India. Indraprastha, that is why it is called as Indraprastha. And the person sitting on the throne, how should he be? And to till date, Indraprastha is New Delhi, or Delhi is still till date a capital city of India, right? And the person sitting on that throne should be an exemplary one. It is not only Dharmaraja alone who ruled Indraprastha. It is the five Pandavas, and Arjuna is the one who they have taken special interest on, because I mean, there is a future not only in that life for Arjuna, I believe, but in future as well. He carried an important role, so that Mata and Sri Krishna started transforming him at that from that point of time itself. So Sri Krishna's training was mostly based on developing his mental powers, not the skills. Of course, there are many people who are skillful, even greater than Arjuna, but they trained him for the greatest mental powers. Attachment versus detachment is one of the greatest mental power, friends. The reason why I would say is that because you are still a human being, and you are still in this body, you still feel attached to the situations that around you. But if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a person who can empower others, if you are a person, if you I don't say that if you want to be, all of us are that kind of people, but we are kind of forgetting that. If For example, I am in a family, I am a person who can empower my kids, who can encourage my kids, who can be an example for my kids, that is enough. You don't have to step out and be a leader and do all the stuff, right? We At our place itself, at our position itself, we can be an exemplary, or we can set an example for our surroundings itself. I can encourage my husband, I can encourage my kids, I can set an example for my kids. That kind of I mean, we are that kind of persons, right? So a person who is still attached to the situation but yet has to be detached, when they step into the leadership role, if they still are attached, they can't think of the future, they can't think of the solution to the problem. We will get stuck with the problem itself. We should be the person where we can still uh, attach to the problem, but yet immediately try to find out the solution to the problem. That is called the detachment. That is what Mata and Sri Krishna trained Arjuna for. And then how will he get that energy, or he get that power? It is the greatest power, according to me, because if you can recollect from the past chapter, chapter 17, by just standing there, Arjuna could release all of the emotions from Sujata's heart, and she could feel very calm in the presence of Arjuna. She didn't have to talk, Arjuna didn't have to talk anything, didn't have to do any sort of stuff, mantras, tantras. No, he didn't do anything. He just stood there because he's vibrating his that much of energy to feel detached. If he is attached to Sujata's sorrows and all those stuff, he wouldn't literally be that person who can provide that calmness to her. So, in his presence, she released all of the emotions, which is a solution to the problem, right? So that's what Mata and Krishna are training Arjuna for. Mata is obviously training his heart, and Krishna is training his with his mental powers. Such kind of detachment we need to learn from Arjuna, and how concentrated he is, how skillful he is. Of course, his skill is obviously an example for us, but yet there is deeper meaning for most of his mental powers. So the mind and heart must be in balance for a true spiritual attainment. So this was said by Mata itself and Sri Krishna itself. So it's for a true spiritual attainment. For example, I can quote an example here. We think of something. The reason why I stepped into this meditation, let me take myself as an example. The reason why I stepped into meditation is because of the health. the purpose of health. I was all of a sudden, after 33, I started developing this acne, and there's no single pimple of mine even before that, for those 33 years. But I was like, okay, what happened? And when I went to the doctor, and what happened was, they said that, okay, it's age and all those stuff. But what I believed was that no, something is wrong from inside my body. I have to heal that. The strong urge that arised in me helped me in finding, or the meditation. One of my friend here, Devi, her mother organized some meditation sessions here, and then where I got connected, and that's how my spiritual journey started. And then what happened was, I got hold of that meditation very strong, and I would say that when I meditate, somehow in between my purpose deviated. So the reason why I came into the meditation is because the purpose of health, but in between it was deviated. And then again, I realized the true purpose why I came in, and then I concentrated on health. Okay, then I registered for some HIT trainings, and then I'm parallelly trying to balance my life along with the meditation, and then workouts, and then healthy eating lifestyle. All this came into alignment. So when your heart and mind is thinking for the single purpose, for the true spiritual, I'm just quoting this as an example, but many of you have different purposes. So when your heart and brain, sorry, yeah, heart and mind is in alignment, your goals are can be easily achieved. But your brain is thinking of something, and your heart is wishing for something. Those are two different things. And then if they don't stay aligned, the true purpose cannot be easily achieved, right? Because you have a conflict in yourself, thinking of two different things, and you'll spend your time balancing on different things. So that heart and mind alignment is very important in every minute. That is what Arjuna is being trained for. Yeah, it takes a lot of time for us to have this heart and mind alignment. But since Mata and Arjuna are there, sorry, Sri Krishna's continuous and consistent training on Arjuna worked out. He has this heart and mind alignment, and he could easily achieve this spiritual attainment. And they don't have to be physically present with us. We are all from that greater consciousness, right? So we all can, the real work has to happen from ourselves. We have to realize, okay, what am I thinking, what am I wishing, are these two different? Let us align them. Okay, single purpose, one at a time. Take accelerate on your steps, so that if you start thinking like that, then you'll receive a help from the higher self to accelerate the process. That's what I truly believe in, and that is a deeper meaning behind this heart and mind alignment, is what I believe. So, and they say that Rukmini, I mean, Sujata says that Arjuna is not a Kshatriya, not a Brahmin, he's a Kshatriya. Why does he need the spiritual attainment? But Sumati also clarifies that who said that spiritual attainment is for only Brahmins or not for the rest of the Varnas? No, that is a wrong or misconception um, um, about this ideology. Spiritual attainment is for everyone in this world. We have to realize our higher self at some point of time, or at some point of lifetime. We do not actually deny that we are in this varna, and spirituality is not for us. No, of course it takes lifetimes, but yet we following dharma will obviously align us to that spiritual attainment at some point of time in the lifetimes. Every life is about learning, friends. We learn so much in every life. We didn't step into this life just like that, just to get married, get job, get earn money. No, everything is about learning. We stepped into this life to earn, sorry, to learn from people, and to learn from surroundings and evolve into the higher stages. That is the purpose of life. So, and and then Sujata realized that the effect of all of this was to drive from my mind the fear of leaving the women's quarters that has been churning in my heart. That fear was now replaced by a gentle inner contentment. Even when I heard of my father's death a few weeks later, I was not devastated. This is called detachment. See where she is now. Why is it? Because it is because of the energy that she has received after meeting her father. If she had known that her father was dead even before meeting him, she would have felt devastated. But she met him, and then in the presence of Arjuna, she was able to relieve all sorts of the emotions, and she could maintain that detachment because he is detached. And what will he pass to the people around him? The detachment, yet attachment. So now she is detached too. At some point of time, it's not like, I mean, yeah, his because it's her father, she still feel attached but yet detached, and she's not devastated. This is statement from her itself. It was Sumati who came to deliver the news of my father, which I accepted calmly, grateful for the gift that Mata had given me to see him once more before he died, to let him know that I was alive and well, so he could leave this earth in peace. So, this is what the detachment, okay, rest in peace. Yeah, he has faced everything he needs to, and then she was able to meet him for one last time, and then yeah, all sorts of thinking, and this made her feel a little bit relaxed, and yeah, she is not devastated, but yet she maintained that detachment, yet attached. So, had I not met my father again before his passing, I would have lived with a great regret and guilt, and she spared me this. That's what Mata's work is. And that's what Arjuna's work is. That's what Mata is trying, making Arjuna to do or to train other people. So, and again, 4 weeks after that day, Abhishek arrived to take Sujata along with them, and then what happened was he informed a news saying about Mahendra's death. Mahendra was stabbed to death by a husband of a woman he had molested, which should have happened a long time ago because of her mother, right? Something that should have happened long ago. Now, uh, so even then, Sujata's mind was not dwelling on it, because she's not dwelling on Mahendra's death, but rather on how Mata must have been aware of his fate. It seemed that so many of the events of the last few months were working towards my departure from the women's quarters. Her sending Ishan to Indraprastha, then secretly directing Abhishek to find me, my final meeting with my father, and now Mahendra's death. Just give me 1 minute, friends. So all these things are working out towards the departure of Sujata. She is ready to go into the outer world and test her knowledge and execute her knowledge. Executing your knowledge and implementing your knowledge is very, 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 very important. According to my opinion, yeah, that carries a heavy weightage on, or importance on your knowledge. If you keep your knowledge in the brain itself and attain the certifications, even in the technology too, most of us, we try getting most of the certifications done, and we keep that without implementing the knowledge. The real part of your knowledge comes when you try to implement that knowledge, not by just storing that in your brain, or not by just storing that in your certifications. You have to implement that knowledge and be productive, and be an example for other people to get inspired by you. That is the real execution. Now see, look at Arjuna. He has gained all the knowledge, he has gained everything. He has been trained under this great celestial beings, so Mata and Sri Krishna. And what did he give to other people when he was assigned some work? He gave that the same thing that which he got, and the result is the detachment again. Right, so we all have to take Arjuna as an example on how to pass on the knowledge in a humble way, not just like preaching, not just like doing extra blah 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 stuff. In a humble execution of knowledge is very, very, very important. So it now Sujata is released into the world, like she's in a cage now. If a bird is in a cage, and then when they release, bird goes haywire. Now a bird comes out, and bird will be like, okay, go there, go this, go this. Now she has to have a set of goal. She has to figure out a set of goal, execute the knowledge that she have received, and all those stuff. That her work, she has to start work from her side. It's not like Mata always spoon feeding her. So that's what everything, the ground is being set for her release. And yeah, so the door was shut for her past with Arjuna's energy, and then she is being released to the outside world. Now, she was saying goodbyes to all the people in the women's quarters, and then Sumati was also telling that don't think this as an ending. You're not truly leaving here. No one who passes through these doors ever leaves. For you, take us with you. Because you are taking all of us with you, Sujata. Do not think that this is an ending. You will keep us to close to your hearts, and we will keep you to close to our hearts. That is the way it is. The threads that link us together cannot be so easily dissolved. That's what Sumati did tell, and Mata will for sure take care of everyone, each and everyone in this world, and especially who are leaving from this women's quarters. They have long way to go. It's not that only life, they have long way to go, and Mata will definitely take care of each and everyone who passed out of these women's quarters. Why is this women's quarters established, and why are they being trained under the personal care of Mata? They have a higher purpose in longer ages, right? That is what Mata's training is on. It's not only Arjuna that she trained, it's also Sujata, Meenakshi, whoever. I mean, Sujata's past life was Meenakshi, right? And then yeah, so she has taken care of each and every individual in that women's quarters. And then she released everyone into the outside world, like how we take care of our kids until certain age, and then release them outside to the outside world to implement the knowledge that we trained them for. Okay. So that's what Mata has done, and to till date we can observe that Dena Merriam is under the care of Mata. And then this book is an example. This book is a fruit that was given to us by Mata, because there's a higher purpose for Dena Merriam too, right? And she was being trained for this higher purpose from longer ages itself. And if this single book can transform our lives so much, how much training did she receive is what we have to imagine, and how much care that she was taken, she was being taken by Mata is what we have to imagine. And then uh, and Arjuna, imagine Arjuna's care, Arjuna's training that he received from Mata. We can never imagine or realize what kind of training that he received and what kind of care that he was taken by those great Mata and Sri Krishna. Now, they came out happily of women's quarters. They said goodbyes, bye byes, and everything. And then now is the time of execution. As soon as she stepped outside of the women's quarters, or I would say the high vibrating place, now they entered to the to their home. They entered to their home, and as soon as she stepped out of it, and then now she is not with Arjuna. Remember, Arjuna is a high vibrating person, but she is with Abhishek right now, and then she's with a real world atmosphere right now. Now, all these thoughts started popping up. The thoughts that are popping up in Sujata's brain is, it made me wonder how Abhishek's wife, Menaka is Abhishek's wife, would regard me. Perhaps she would see me as a poor, unfortunate Vaishya sister who had nowhere else to go and was not worthy to be living with such wealth. Surely she would think me a burden, perhaps pity me, but I did not want to be pitied. Even before I met her, I assumed this would be her attitude towards me, and so I was on guard from the start. Come on, friends, did you happen to realize this? What she was thinking? What are the emotions, or what are the feelings that are popping up in her brain? She's thinking that all these things, even she didn't even meet Menaka, or she didn't even go to their house. Even before they started reaching their house, she started thinking all of these assumptions. She started making all of these assumptions about her brother's wife. No one told anything to her. That is called Maya. That is called a delusion. That is called meeting with the real world atmosphere. So, at our first meeting, I looked into her smiling face, and despite my best efforts, for some reason, I could not return her warm greeting. She reached out to embrace me, and I had to struggle not to withdraw myself. And she was like, okay, everything was looking fine. Menaka was responding well. Menaka was welcoming her sister-in-law. Everything is looking fine, but she had to withdraw herself. She did not know why she was maintaining this, because she had pre-assumptions even before reaching their home, all these sorts of feelings that arised in her, and she had to withdraw herself. um, so when she stepped into their home, then she saw that she had prepared. She was even surprised the amount of food that is there in front of her, because she was habituated to simple kind of food in women's quarters, because the food carries very much importance. When you take the sattvic lifestyle of food, your senses will always be calm down, and the energies that are around you, when you are in a high vibrating place, the energies will start working on your heart and brain. Right, but here she saw a delicious set of food in front of her, and then she shrank back, and she was like, instead of feeling happy, if I would have been there, I would feel like, okay, lots and lots of food, I could eat very happily, right? But most of us feel like that. But what did Sujata feel? Sujata felt suspicious. I mean, this is one kind of feeling. Instead of feeling happy, she felt suspicious. This is kind of emotion too. Why did that suspicious come? It's because of those pre-assumptions. A grand meal was waiting for us after our arrival, with many sumptuous dishes, but I ate little, unaccustomed to the delicate spicing, more used to the simple fare at the women's quarters. When she spoke to me, I nodded and answered in monosyllables, which means, okay. Hmm. She was talking. Menaka was trying to talk, elaborate, make friendship with Sujata, and she did her best to welcome her and not to make her feel offended. But what did Sujata try to respond to? She responded in a monosyllables, like just simple words, as if she was like, "Okay, you did all of this to please me and to please my brother. You did all of this. You look suspicious to me." That's what that is the kind of feeling that she had. So she couldn't actually return her gracious welcome or respond to her with any warmth. In fact, every time Menaka spoke to Sujata, she felt a wall of resistance arising in Sujata and closing of my heart to her. Who actually did open heart of Sujata? It's Arjuna who opened her heart with the single eyesight, right? And the love vibration started, the feeling of love started vibrating from Sujata. But what is she doing now? She's she's still closing her heart without any love inside her heart. Now, why is this happening? Because mind and heart alignment is still not in place for Sujata. She's thinking of one thing and she's thinking of wishing for other things. Over the days and weeks, it only grew worse. I tried to avoid her, but she appeared so anxious for my friendship that avoidance was nearly impossible. The more fervently she approached me, the greater was my withdrawal. The intensity of my reaction to her, one of near aversion, upset me. She herself was like very upset with her own behavior. Why am I reacting such a way to her? She is always looking good, but she's thinking that, okay, she's doing this to please me and my brother. Okay, she's taking my brother away from me. She is doing all these things. It's suspicious to me. All these thoughts of thinking, which is not logical, right? Which is not logical, because she closed her heart towards her sister-in-law. She I mean, we get new relationships in this family, which we kind of want to learn from them too. We are with our own family for like 25 years or 30 years or 35 years, or whatsoever, right? But the reason why we step into other families, or why males step into other families, is to learn from them or be an inspiration to them. It is not like we should stay away from them. We should we should still feel attached to our new family that are coming into our life. That is the reason why this marriage alliances happen in between the families, towards the families, to learn from each other, to share the knowledge with each other. That is the real importance of marriage, is what I understood from this book. So yeah, uh, she wanted so I told myself it would be better. uh, I would get used to her ways, but I didn't know how to open my heart to her. Sujata didn't actually know on how to open her heart to Menaka. So Amba came to visit a few weeks after Sujata's arrival, and Menaka greeted her as warmly as she had greeted Sujata, saying that any friend of Sujata's was her friend as well. She wanted it to be three of us, like three of us in the sense Amba, Sujata, and Menaka. A tight circle of the dearest friends, but I wanted no part of her and didn't want to share Amba's friendship with her. On her third visit, Amba took me aside. I could tell that she was aggrieved by my behavior. This is not the kind of Sujata that she saw inside the women's quarters. But why is she behaving like this in her own brother's home with her own sister-in-law? She used to take care of every people who are in need inside the women's quarters, but she couldn't actually actually take care of her own sister-in-law here, and she couldn't actually respond freely. Her own brother's wife, she couldn't actually respond with at least a smiling gesture. um, that really made Amba feel upset, and she took her aside, and then she was talking to her. Sujata, what's wrong with you? Menaka is doing everything in her power to make you feel at home. She is a fine lady. She is a fine woman, and you're lucky that she is who she is and receives you with such a warmth. Why are you resisting? I have never seen you respond so rudely with such coldness towards anyone. You have always been so caring with all the women in need who came to the palace. Why are you this way with the wife of your brother? Don't you think you're hurting him by your behavior? And then she was like, okay, okay, don't be so harsh with me. I don't understand it myself. The more she reaches out to me, the more I want to run away from her. I stiffen inside as soon as I see her. Why is this feeling that is coming outside of you? Is it your anger towards your mother coming out? Is what Amba asked. And then Sujata was like, no, I have forgiven my mother. It's not about that. I don't even remember about that. And are you jealous of your love between her and Abhishek? And then Sujata said that he is my brother. I want him to be happy. How could I be jealous? Perhaps seeing them together is making you miss Uddhav's, feeling sad that you don't have such a relationship. She mused. Then Sujata said that it's not that either, Amba. Then I don't know why this feeling arises in me when she starts coming towards me. I do not understand the reason. Then Amba suggested that then ask Mata for help. Have you still attended or tended towards Mata's help? You must shake yourself out of this mood if you are to stay here. You are doing your brother a great injustice, disrupting the harmony in this household, is what Amba suggested and highlighted this importance. If you are living inside a relationship or within a family, you have to live with your heart. It's not that you're physically present and mentally absent. If you do not deal with the people or with your heart, then you will have them accumulated or carrying along with you for the next lifetimes too. Because the mistakes are mistakes, let goes are let goes, bygones are bygones. And you have to keep moving forward by transforming from inside. It's not that mind present and body present and mind absent. So you really have to ask Mata's help to let her help you. Sujata, you lived at a place for over 12 years. Have you never asked Mata for help with a problem? I shook my head. She looked at me strangely and then replied quietly, not a day goes by when I don't seek the assistance of Mata and Sri Krishna. I see them as one. With my troubles at home, how could I get through the day without their inner support? Is what Amba suggested. So Amba is literally living outside the world and not inside women's quarters. But Sujata, she was living inside the women's quarters for 12 years without the external world support. But Amba is living in the real world, living with all of the people around her and having mixed emotions. And her husband is one of the notoristic kind. And then how did she gain that support? How was she able to live in the life, or deal with the life? It's because of the inner support that was given by Mata and Sri Krishna. Every minute she tend towards their help. That is the trust that she has on them. Whereas Sujata was like, okay, how can how can I tend towards Mata for such simple help? I cannot bother her about this petty matter. I would be embarrassed to even tell her, I stammered, which means Sujata. Sujata was thinking herself, somehow in deep subconscious mind, or deep inside her brain, she is sure that she is making a mistake, and she cannot go towards Mata and say that I'm making a mistake, please support me. That's not logical, right? That's why she didn't ask her help. She didn't feel like asking her help. We all have those situations where we know what is right, but we kind of don't do that right thing and kind of do the go the other way, and then be like, okay, this is the way that I want to go. And then if I go stand in front of God, or do the things, stand in front of a person or a God, and try to admit those things, we feel kind of shy, not externally but internally. I'm also in that place. We internally feel some shy towards admitting towards our stuff that we do, right? That is the reality. It is just compare these situations with your own life. This book is a great, great, great book which can help you understand your actions in your life, in day-to-day life. That's why I love this book a lot. This book is like a personality development book for me. I don't know how it is for you all, but it is like a personality development. We don't have to attend the classes of personality development. Rather, read this Rukmini, The Turning of Time, and try to connect towards the behaviors and understand the behaviors that is going on with Sujata or rest of the people inside those books. That will really help you in realizing the rightful path and rightful way of acting in your life. I mean, executing the actions in your life or executing your ideas in your life. So I cannot bother her about this petty matter. Why is she thinking like that? Because she knows that she is doing a mistake. She's your Rajkumari, one who doesn't sit on a high throne, but who walks through the streets, the alleys, and markets, caring for those in need, dispelling the shadows that lurk in our minds. You have no recourse but to turn her, Sujata. You must make peace with Menaka and open your heart to her so that you can remain here. Where else can you go? Amba was emphasizing this point. In order for you to live here, you must open your heart to Menaka. You cannot run away from every relationship that you think is not aligned to you. If there are relationships in your life, that means they are there for a reason, and you have to deal with that relationship from inside your heart. Okay, that is the main thing that Sujata or Amba was emphasizing on. I glanced at her disapprovingly and replied stubbornly, I can return to the women's quarters. Okay, that's my home. I can return to the women's quarters. And then Amba was like, can you go back to the women's quarters? Are you sure of that? Do you think Mata will reward bad behavior? She was asking all this stuff. Do you think that Mata will accept your bad behavior? Mata takes in people who have nowhere to turn, who are in a crisis. That is not your situation now. She doesn't allow us to run away from our life's challenges, from our dharma. This is something I have had to learn, is what Amba said. It is not that people. I mean, why did Mata take in Sujata and or rest of the people in women's quarters or men's quarters? Because they don't have anywhere else to go. They have nowhere else to go, and then to empower them, to encourage them, to inspire them, she took them in and then trained them in and gave all the knowledge that she can, and released them. And now you have some things to execute, some plans to execute, and you can't face the real challenges. You run away from the challenges. Will Mata encourage that? No, she wants you. The reason why she empowered you is because or she inspired you or she encouraged you is because you could follow the dharma or the rightful path. If you're not following the rightful path and running away from the things that you want to, Mata will not encourage that. So Sujata was thinking again. She was thinking long and hard about Amba's words, but didn't want to admit the extent of the problem, and so she didn't dare to call out internally to Mata. So this is what all we do, right? Most of us, even myself, what we do is we kind of think some things and we know that it is a wrong thing, but yet we don't admit towards it, and then we will be like, okay, this is the right, this is all what I can do, this is the right thing, how else should I have done, this is the right thing, right? So such kind of things that we still can observe in our life. And s- she still knows that it is a bad behavior, and she didn't dare to call internally for Mata's help. And at night, she would often lay in bed reviewing the day's events in the effort to find fault with Menaka, trying to remember an impatient or hurtful word of hers. But in fact, there never were any to recall. She was always more than gracious, but this only hardened my stubborn nature, making more resistant to her. I mean, these are all the feelings, emotions that most of us have. Maybe we really want to work on these emotions a lot. That is the real work of Mata, like transforming from inside the heart. When Amba would visit, I would often find them in the courtyard, arm in arm, as if they were the closest sisters. But I was unable even to extend a hand to help her walk when she was ill. Even if she was ill, she was not able to help her because she did nothing. There's nothing between them. They didn't even exchange the cold words or heated words or anything. It's that she herself was distancing from her own sister-in-law for no reason. Finally, I convinced myself that her fine character was all a pretense, a show to win me over, and I was determined not to be tricked. I didn't realize it then, but my mind had created a distorted perception, a tangle of misunderstandings that I was unable to break free of, and this was making life at my brother's home unbearable for me. She was like, at last she had to have something for herself to think of, right? Trying to find fault of Menaka, and then she was finally convinced that this is all acting. Menaka was all acting to win her over, and this is what the conclusion that she came up with. One day, Abhishek did really take her aside, and they had a courtyard. They sat with each other, and they said that, is everything okay with you, Sujata? I know you had a tough time along, but you are we are really here united, and we wanted to really live together. This is a typical male's problem too, finding and trying hard to unite. I mean, uh, yeah, his family, and then his wife too. Um, but yeah, so Sujata was like, okay, did she complain on me? Abhishek was like, no, 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 don't take it that way. I didn't even tell about her or mention her name. Why are you getting excited? I just came here to ask how you are feeling. Then she was like, okay, why did you come here? Why are you asking about my wellness here? I'm okay, I'm doing okay. Did she complain about me? No, she really admires you a lot, Sujata. She admires you very greatly. Admire me? Why? I asked suspiciously. Why will she admire me? I am all inside. She knows that she is acting weird with her, but why will she admire me? Is this a trick? Okay, this must be a trick. She might have complained about me. She says you have a great inner strength to have gone through so many losses in your life and to have not turned bitter. Sujata. And then as he was speaking out these words, okay, this lady complained something on me, and then he is here. Okay, now whatever, I'm ready to get into an argument. This is the kind of behavior that she had. Um, Emotions that she had at that point of time. Abhishek was making him her feel comfortable, and then he said that, okay, I really want you to get to know her, Sujata. The two of you are the most important people in my life. I so want to see a close bond form between you, but I don't want to pressure you in any way, and I know you need time. and said that, okay, Sujata said that, okay, I understand, Abhishek. I just needed time, Abhishek. Everything will be fine. And then Abhishek spoke a little bit words and then he left. And then after a day or two, Amba visited her, and then Amba and Sujata, she was actually waiting for Amba to listen to me, and the dearest Amba was choosing Menaka over Sujata is what Sujata was not able to bear. This hurt her so greatly. This hurt her so greatly, and she wondered if it was not because they were both Kshatriya. And then this all these thoughts came up because they both are Kshatriyas, and then they can unite and get along with each other. All these thoughts, this unnecessary thoughts, unnecessary feelings has arisen in Sujata. And then Menaka was not feeling well, and when she left, was leaving, she turned her head and, can't you see, Sujata, Menaka is not well. I don't understand you. You have cared for so many women at the palace, and Menaka is your wife's brother, your sister. Sorry, your brother's wife, your sister. She's down with a fever. Show a little concern. And then Sujata was like, she's always sick. Perhaps she is pretending to be ill to gain Abhishek's sympathy and yours. How can you say such thing? She asked angrily. If you won't care for her, then I will. Okay, yeah, then I will is what she said, and then her heart was in uproar. Uh, and then Sujata couldn't actually bear this, and that day she immediately, without saying anything to any word to anyone, she fled to the women's quarters, certain that once Sumati saw her state, she would really invite her in. And she was running to the women's quarters as if she was running away. She's actually in her home, and she was thinking that was her home. Women's quarters were her home, and she was sure that she would be welcomed. And as soon as Sumati saw her, she replied with a stern voice, saying that Mata is waiting for you. So why did she have a stern voice? She said that Mata is waiting for you in a temple. And then okay, then she's happy that, okay, Mata knows everything that was going on. And then she was waiting for her in that temple. Give me 1 minute, friends. Okay. So even from a distance, and this is very, very, very important. Mata knew everything that was going on with Sujata's life, and even from she was waiting for her, and she was expecting her, and she was waiting for her at the temple. Now, this made Sujata felt that she would be welcomed. But if she would be welcomed, why is she being called to the temple? Even from a distance, so when she was going to that temple, Mata was standing there in front of the temple, facing her back towards Sujata, like she was facing her front towards the temple and then back towards Sujata, as Sujata was coming from the backside. And then something caused my eagerness to dissipate, and my feet, seeming to have a will of their own, slowed to the cautious crawl. So something is happening, and instead of going fast, she slowed down her steps, and it was like a crawling. Even from the distance, I could feel the strong energy emanating from her. Ever so slowly, I drew closer, and then the energy became so intense that I could not come any nearer. It was as if a force field surrounded her that prevented my approach. So I stood about a dozen steps away. She remained immobile, still and silent, like the eye of a storm. It's like silence before the storm. It's like a silence before the storm. Uh, So this was not the scene I had imagined before. This is not what she was expecting before. Before her stood not the calming presence that she knew very well, but another unfamiliar force, aloof and unapproachable. You know why Mata is like that? You all can now understand. Uh, Her body, my body, which is Sujata's body, began to tremble. It was too late to retreat, and yet I couldn't move forward. This was the situation when she was approaching Mata. Why did she come there? Because she couldn't actually deal with the real world. She couldn't actually deal with the real world, and then she was not able to find that I mean, she was running away, and she had executed a bad behavior, and then she was running away from that behavior, and then wants to seek Mata's help. Will Mata encourage that? And how is Mata? Her energy is itself is not accepting Sujata, and it was too late to retreat, yet I couldn't move her. She was not able to move forward, she was not able to move backward. She was standing there still, and which is not where that energy is not allowing her to do any sorts of actions. So Sujata tried opening her mouth to speak, but the words stuck in her throat. All the defenses, all the preparation of what she had made up to be for the reasons to flee up from the home, it didn't actually matter, you know. So what she witnessed was that Indradev's thunderbolts flashed from her eyes, piercing me to the very core, sending a searing heat up my spine. So there's a heat that was sent up through Sujata's spine, and then it was like a thunderbolt. So her eyes and her eyesights were like a thunderbolt. I could not contain the energy and letting out a deep cry. I felt my legs collapse from under me as I sank to the ground, gasping for the breath. Her booming voice came from above and below. It's like the fierce nature has the calming nature has turned into more fierce. If you can see, the nature is very calm, and suddenly there's a thunderstorm. How does it look? It's angry, right? The nature is angry with us, like that. Mata, it looked like Mata is very, very angry, as if like Indradev's thunderbolts were showering up upon Sujata, and her booming voice came from above and below, behind and in front. I heard it from every side. Every side, Mata's words were echoing. And what are those words? Have you no compassion, Sujata? You have rejected her twice before. Will you reject her again? It is time to let go of it. So it is time. She knows everything. She knows everything, and every action that was executed by Sujata. Then walking over to me and bending low, she tapped me on the chest. She tapped Sujata on her chest. It may have been a gentle tap, but it felt as if a huge boulder had been dropped on me. I could not bear the weight and the pain as my chest heaved, desperate for air. It felt like I was dying, peering out through a curtain of tears. I hazily saw the return of her gentle mane, the familiar face, and I simply called out, Mata, as I felt myself sinking into darkness. So she just tapped on the chest, and then this all made her go into the deep darkness, and then fell down, and then she was seeing all sorts of those darkness. When the darkness cleared, I saw the figure of a forest mother, a loving relationship with a daughter, the mother scolding the daughter, a painful rift. So it was a painful rift between mother and daughter, and then a boat carrying a young woman away alone into an unknown world, her hurt and anger towards the mother finding no outlet or expression. What had caused such an irreconcilable rift? Other images flew by. I was swirling through time, carried on a raft, set adrift on the swiftly moving sea of creatures. Then I saw a woman assaulting her sister with the word. I mean, this is the second stage. The first stage is they could see a rift between the mother and daughter relationship, and then the second, the move across the centuries, after centuries, then they saw a sister assaulting her younger sister with words of anger, the pain on the sister's face, and a separation that could not be undone. Seeds of an unknown origin were coming to flower, and I caught in a cycle of hurt, anger, and resentment. Slowly I came back to waking consciousness and found myself lying on the ground outside the temple, rising to a seated position. I looked around. Mata was gone, but Anjali was seated beside me, waiting for me to be awakened. So this was all sort of glimpses that he got during that time. What happened, Anjali? I asked in a hoarse whisper, wondering if I had dreamed the whole experience. Mata has freed you from an old samskara, she replied simply. How long have I been asleep? For an hour or so. Mata sent me to watch over you. So I didn't dream it then. I really happened to see some sorts of glimpses. Was that my past life, Anjali? What was it actually? She said, and then she said, "I have to tell you two stories. Two stories, Sujata, related to me by Mata." So the first story happened long ago in the distant past. There was a forest community headed by a woman who had two daughters and three younger sons. So long, long ago, this is a past life of Sujata. I'm revealing it to you ahead of time. But the past life of Sujata we know until now is only the Meenakshi in Treta Yuga, right? But between Treta Yuga and the Dwapar Yuga, there's one more life or two more lives that she took, and that life was very, very, very heavy. And give me 1 minute. Yes, sorry. There was a forest community, and there's a mother who had two daughters and then three younger sons. So the eldest daughter was named Prema, was meant to take over the leadership of that clan where when the mother grew old. But one day she was about 18-year-old and she fell in love with a Naga Rajkumar, disappeared and was never seen again, the elder daughter. The younger daughter Sundari was next in line, and to become the clan chief, her mother had great expectations of her. But Sundari didn't want a position of leadership because she believed that it was her sister's right, and claimed that they must continue searching for Prema until they found her. When her mother gave up that search, the first seed of anger towards her mother took root in Sundari's heart. One day, the clan left the forest and moved to a settlement by the Saraswati River. There, the young Sundari fell in love with a Brahmin who had taken a vow of brahmacharya. Much to her mother's dismay, Sundari pursued this young Brahmin relentlessly, casting aside all sense of property, not caring what was in the best interest of the clan. The mother was a proud woman who had a keen sense of duty. So when the sages of that settlement decided to send Sundari far away for the sake of this Brahmin, the mother did not protest. Sundari felt abandoned and blamed her mother for not defending her, and for allowing her to be banished. She never forgave her, never saw her again, and harbored deep resentment piled onto her original anger. These are all the angers that are piling up because she didn't actually set a search for her elder daughter, and then she didn't protect Sundari to be abandoned from that clan because she was falling in love and wooing a Brahmin who took a vow of brahmacharya, and this Brahmin is also very, very important part. There are all of these sorts of past life connections, and which will take into effect and which will accumulate karma in the future lives as well. So there's a famous saying: concentrate on your present tense, make it more fruitful in order to yield better results in the future. So this one life made Sujata, or Sundari. Sundari is one of the past life of this particular Sujata. So she was able to take that, and many lifetimes later, there's one more life, and that life ended, and finally her mother was also like feeling sad for not being able to protect her father's her daughter Sundari. And then many lifetimes later, mother was born as the younger sister to the reborn Sundari. She was very devoted to her and offered her service in many ways, but each offerings was rejected and repeating the old pattern. She hated her to the most, and then she repeated that old pattern was repeating her, but the soul of his mother would not give up. She was reborn and married to Abhishek, still seeking to make peace with her daughter of long ago, now known as Sujata. That's what Anjali revealed. How quickly, Sujata, you fell into an old pattern of behavior, rejecting your sister in law not for who she is today, but for who she was to you long ago. Until we break the old pattern of behaviors and thinking, we cannot free ourselves from samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. So this is the very, 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 very important thing. um, and we all do have connections from the past, and we if until we try to figure out those old patterns, we all have someone in our life whom we hate, not for who they are today, but for who they are from the past. It is when you are in awareness or consciousness state, you will really try to identify that, okay, you hate them not for who they are today, you hate them for what they were to you from ages ago. Maybe it's time for you or for us, all of us, to find a solution to that problem instead of getting away or stuck with the old samskaras patterns. Now we come to the second story. Menaka was born into a prominent Kshatriya family in Mathura. Her father married her off to a man she didn't love. A few years after the marriage, she died in a border skirmish, leaving her with a young daughter. Now, after that, another Kshatriya named Abhishek. So Abhishek was wounded in the same battle, and then Abhishek's family and Menaka's family had a fight, and then they were not able to get along. But somehow, Menaka was able to attend to Abhishek's need, and she was able to cure him. And then both of them fell in love with each other, and then they proposed this to their marriage to the family. But Abhishek's family agreed, but Menaka's family didn't agree. Somehow they married, and they were married to each other, and then they came back to Dwaraka. They shared such a bond with each other, and they were very happy couple. They were happily married to each other, and so they came here very shortly after Sumati took Sujata to Eastern Ghats to visit Arjuna, where Arjuna cracked her heart and opened her heart to vibrate that love, right? So all this, all the story that happened later. And what happened later was that it is time for Sujata to break with the olden patterns. And why she was feeling bad. Why didn't someone tell this before I went to live with them? And then Anjali was like, okay, if we send you out by telling everything, then what will you be doing? What will how will you use your brain? How will you use your heart? It is important for you to use your brain and heart first. Then only the help will come. Based on your actions, the help will be coming. If you don't execute your action and just sit there still there, sit still, and then every time Mata is spoon feeding you, what is the use of you being there? Mata herself can do all the things, right? What is the importance of you being there? That's what Anjali was telling. So Mata was actually hoping you that you could overcome the old patterns of behavior. Menaka is truly a noble lady now, and Mata didn't want you to feel obligated to her, but now to feel love for her, and then that would change you, is what she was hoping, but it didn't actually change you, and you were repeating from the old samskaras, which Mata was really mad at me, right, Sujata? Right, Anjali is what Sujata was saying. And then she was like, okay, it is not true that Mata is angry. She's not at all angry with anyone. She's actually trying to get you away from that old samskara. She's actually trying to help you because you asked her help and came for help. If you wouldn't have asked her help to overcome this behavior, then you wouldn't get help too, right? So that's where Sujata made a good move of asking her help, to realizing that she is okay, she's doing something bad, but yet she's not able to uh, deal with the real world situations, right? When you feel anger or resentment arise, when you are on the verge of speaking a harsh word to Menaka, stop and reflect and remember who she is. Say something kind or perform a gracious act. Think of her as Mata's child. You will see how your feelings change. This is the important takeaway from Anjali's words. Um, she says that memories, all these memories are stored deep in the recesses of your mind, but the patterns of behavior persist until one consciously makes a change. We have to consciously make a change to our behaviors or the emotions that are, or the feelings that are stored deep inside our heart. But Mata will always be there to help, but you must do the work, is what Anjali told, and that is real for all of us, friends. It is we who have to do the work. We are here for a reason. We are here, we have taken this life for a reason. We have to do the work and leave the result to Mata or whomever you believe in. Read the result to the higher self, but do the work. Do the work. Concentrate on the present tense, present actions. Mata can only guide you. If you return to live here at the women's quarters, Sujata, you won't grow in understanding, but rather you will be planting more unwanted seeds for the future. Only by facing your challenges head, one can you overcome them and gain the wisdom. And then she was like, okay, if we take sannyasa, you're actually deviating away from the real world challenges, friends. If you are sitting like 24 hours, 48 hours, 58 hours, that is okay to do meditation once in a while, but every time getting away from your responsibilities is not the things. You have to deal with the responsibilities and then gain the energy in your meditation to execute those responsibilities in a rightful way. Transformation has to start from heart. That is the real result of meditation, is what I would say. So that elder one, Prema, isn't she Amba now? She is born as Amba, right? She asked, okay, now there you are, Sujata, you realized it. Okay, she is Amba now, and you are, Sundari is born as Sujata now, and then that mother is born as Menaka now. So that is why three of you have settled again here. And then and then she realized the importance of all of them getting together again. So again, she was asking about Arjuna. Was he the Arjuna? And then who drove me to my father? And then Anjali said that yes, he is Arjuna. It was both for you and for him. Mata learned long ago that to govern one must understand the plight of being governed. plight of the governed, which means to rule a people, as I said earlier, to rule the people, you must understand the feelings of the people. Then only you have to step into their shoes and understand the people. Then only you will execute the right judgment. Otherwise, you'll be thinking from your perspective only. You have to think about others' perspectives too and deliver the right judgment or deliver the right solution. That is what the Mata's training is on Arjuna. She learned this from Janaka Maharaj. Janaka Maharaj is also called as great, great, great Rishi because he lived among the people, not with the people, not outside of the people as a king or someone else. He is a sage, but yet he is a ruler, and he lived among the people. He balanced everything very perfectly, and that's why this great great Mata was born to him, to learn from him and to teach everyone, to carry on that lineage. That is what she learned from the Janaka Maharaj. Imagine we how big heart he has, Janaka Maharaj has. That is why he is called as Rishi or the sage, even though he's a ruler. And he is passing on the training to Arjuna as well as her sons Pradyumna and Charumati too. Charumati and Pradyumna are Rukmini Mata's son and daughter. So she knows your heart, Sujata, and she knows the hearts of all of us. And there is a role of Arjuna with many of men and women here in the distant future. So this is why Arjuna is being trained so vigorously. She's beginning to weave those threads of connection now. So what is this dharma? And then she was also asking some of the questions. Why did we run away? All of us was running away from the samsara, and then we were taking another marriages by running away. Why is this happening? Is there a pattern in this family? And then Anjali was telling that adherence to dharma is weakening in this age, Sujata. Thinking is becoming rigid, which means. Uh, what does it mean by thinking is becoming rigid? They stick to what they already believe. They don't like to change their mindsets considering others' viewpoints. That is not happening in Dwapara Yuga or in Kali Yuga too. So thinking is becoming very rigid. That's why Arjuna is being trained so intensively to step into other shoes and think from other points of view, others' points of view too. So, and the impulse for violence is growing, just as it is difficult for an individual to break set patterns of behavior. And it is the same for the community too. Society needs a good shake-up, Sujata. This is one of the reasons for Sri Krishna's birth and Mata's to help restore the ethical norms. She sees that women are rapidly losing the status, independence, and freedoms that they have previously held. Now, society needs a good shake-up, and women has to restore their dignity to prove themselves. And it is not like women is a caretaker or alone or anything. Women has the greatest ability and power to balance everything and multitask. That is the capacity we have. We all can prove that capacity. Execute that things, balance everything, such as the brain of a girl or a woman. They have to restore their independence. Independence doesn't mean that earning. If you earn, it is not independent. If you earn like lakhs and lakhs of dollars or rupees, that's not independence. The independence is nothing but if you are able to balance everything in front of you and execute your actions in a rightful way. That is called the real independence, where you set an example to the future generations, where you be an example, where you can encourage other people, you stand as a pillar or an icon for your family or a society, is called the real independence of a woman, is what I believe. So she was actually trying to awaken Agni in you, the fire and power of will. Power of will is nothing but the inner strength. You lost that inner strength, Sujata. That's what she was trying to awaken in you. Now, so she was actually trying to recollect from the past when we see that seer from Vidarbha, right? In the olden chapters, in the part one, she predicted that you will get a long last when Uddhav and Sujata were trying to get the fortune telling for her for their lives, whether their marriage will happen or not. The seer from Vidarbha told her that you will get a long lasting sister and then mother. You will find a lost sister and make peace with your mother from long ago. So she was making peace with Menaka, who was a mother long ago, and then she found a long lost sister called Prema, who was reborn as Amba. So she was like miraculously happy for this, and then she left home, and then taking away all these insights, and then she was everyone were very very happy, I mean very sad, but yet happy to see her back. And Amba was like, where did you go, what did you do? As soon as she saw him, what did you do, why didn't you even say a word, and all this stuff. And then okay, Menaka fell ill, very ill. You couldn't even attend her, is what Amba was trying to tell. Okay, Sujata took plates from Amba. Okay, I'll go now attend her. And she didn't expect that everything to change overnight, but slowly she decided that it will slowly change now that she was aware of this old patterns and all the stuff. And then she went to Menaka, and then she said that, Menaka, I'm so sorry for everything, for you, for leaving you today. And then I'll try myself, my best to do everything I can to actually execute every action from my heart. And then Menaka was also happy. They were happy. They both were happy. And Abhishek was seeing this from behind the doors. And then he doesn't want to disturb them. And then he left slowly by closing the doors. And then they were really happy. And then deep inside, Sujata was telling to herself that I will care for you now, Menaka, just as you tended to my brother when he was wounded, and as you cared for my father when I couldn't. I will make that up to you and be to you now what I couldn't be in the past. That is my promise to you and to Mata, is what she told to herself inside, Sujata. So, with this is a happy ending with this chapter, chapter 18. All of them were united, not physically, but by hearts. The real transformation had come from their hearts. That is what is most important and most wanted for all of us, even for Sujata and for all of us too. With that, I'll be closing this chapter 18, and in the next session, we'll be looking on to the chapter 19. Thank you all. Thank you.